to answer your question, which is this the immigration fix that this country wanted? I think absolutely there are certain people that wanted to see this kind of pain and destruction for a certain group or type of immigrant. Because if you look at the numbers, yes, the number of immigrants that come from Mexico or of Mexican-born are the largest. But the next largest are Asians. 28% of them come. I don't think they walk across the southern border. I think they come by plane. The next largest are Europeans. I don't think they walk either. I'm just saying immigrants, right?
Oh, not undocumented, though.
A lot of them are undocumented, actually.
But that's not the stat for being
but a lot of them
come by plane and then overstay their visas.
They overstay their visas. They overstay their visas, so they're undocumented. The Europeans that come here that overstay their visas are undocumented, but they don't come across the southern border. So I think there's a very clear message as to what this president wants the look of a criminal migrant to look like, what an undocumented migrant. And I think that's racist. Let me also say that, in my view, he has circumvented established law by weaponizing the U.S. military.
Can you explain what you mean by that?
Generally, before being deported, you have an asylum case pending in front of a court, and you must appear in front of that judge. Right now, there are 3 million asylum cases and 900 judges. That is why the bipartisan bill that was going to be passed addressed that particular issue. Instead of dealing with it legally in that way, and I'm not saying he's doing it illegally, what he did was declared a national emergency that qualifies as a foreign invasion. And on the U.S.-Mexico border, not any other border. And that cleared the way for the Department of Defense to deploy the military at a 60% increase. I just think that our military members, many of them did not join the military to do that job. And let me say just finally that they are also racially profiling in doing this.
Oh, my Lord! Oh, so I couldn't believe this woman. She is just sickening.
Look, I don't know how she wove into this, the racism part. It was all over the place. Again, I repeat, to me now, Sunny is a former federal fuck up. That's what I called her last week. And that's what I'm going to call her from time to time. That's number 2. But the oath of office for the military, for, bureaucrats, government, whatever. I solemnly swear to defend the U.S. Constitution against enemies, foreign and domestic. That is the number 1 job of the United States military and for those who take the office. So again, this former federal fuck up should know this. You would think they teach that in Law 101. And when you're in law school. So how she missed that, again, she wants to weave in this racism angle, and it doesn't even make sense. Illegals are here illegally. Like, I don't know who said it, but the fact that you come here illegally makes you a crime. These are the same people who continually release prisoners, Americans no less. They want them all over the country. They want to supply them with every service from A to B at our expense, even our lives and livelihood. They don't give a damn. You know why? Because the federal fuck ups like Sunny Hostin and her husband live in protected, boarded, if you will, boarded houses, fenced all in, and the rest of the people cannot get there. I'm sick of them. They are so disingenuous. They can't even just be consistent on their own side.
We should note, again, you and I have said this on the air many times, there is no evidence that Joe Biden was, involved in any wrongdoing.
Of course, want to note that there is no evidence that Joe Biden or Hunter Biden has done anything wrong.
I just want to reiterate.
And let's be clear for the viewers.
There is no evidence Biden did anything wrong.
Governor, you got a second?
Literally talking to the president right now to specifically answer the question of what we can do for you and your daughter.
Can I hear it? Can I hear your call? Because I don't believe it.
This is why independent media is so important. Thanks to people like you, patriots who love America and stand for truth, we're making a difference. Together, we've turned them off. called them out for their lies and propaganda, and held them accountable for their disdain for God-fearing, freedom-loving Americans like us. But we can't stop here. It's time to take action with our dollars. Let's make 2025 the year we double down on our commitment to values-driven choices. Vote with your dollars. Support Made in America. Back companies that honor our families, faith, and country. We found an exciting way to make this switch, and we want you to join us. Check out www.popandswitch.com and click Yes, I Want to Make the Switch. It's that easy. It's time to walk away from corporations like BlackRock and Vanguard that undermine our principles. Let's invest in America. Let's support businesses that share our love for this country. You don't have to take on everything at once, but you can start here. Join us in making this one small yet powerful step. Visit www.popandswitch.com. Click the link and schedule a call with our team to learn how you can make the switch. Together, we can create real change.
Go ahead. And she's stupid.
Yeah.
Weaponizing the U.S. military. Lady, the U.S. military is a weapon.
Okay? Exactly. That's the whole point of being in the military, right? Yeah.
Number two, listen, where we capture people who have been here illegally, and right now stage one is, the violent criminal aspect of that. There are plenty of Asians that have walked across that border. Chinese.
You saw one.
Okay.
John Holman was picking up a guy was from Thailand.
That's been profiled. So here's what I think. You want to see weaponization? Sunny, I think you should shut the hell up because A, you're stupid, and B, your husband is in some deep legal stuff right about now. So, which could turn into a whole nother thing. So, lady, go concentrate on your home. Right. And I think it's racist. You thought the last snowstorm was racist because it didn't have black flakes in it. Okay. You think everything is racist. This is not news, lady. She's insufferable.
Yeah. Shelley, what are your thoughts on that exchange? Yeah.
And if it was President Shelley E. and Defense Secretary, Soldiers of Finance, we wouldn't even be landing the plane. C-130 static line drops all over Central and South America.
Yeah.
Drop it from the side.
Before I get you in, Nicole, we have here Born with a Purpose with the 250 super chat says, y'all need a syndicated show to battle the View. We certainly
thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, Kung Fu CJ says, as a vet, I took an oath, and it says foreign and domestic with the $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Kung Fu CJ. Nicole, what did you think of that exchange?
It was typical Sunny. It was her typical lazy ass rhetoric. She did no research. She's just spewing junk. It's not like Donald Trump asked brown people to come here. Brown people been jumping that border for as long as there's been a border, right? The problem that we're having with them is the criminality. If they're raping, they're pillaging. And it doesn't matter to me if your skin is yellow, polka dot striped, glitter colored, brown. It makes no difference. But if you're raping a child, American or foreign born, you should be penalized. And if you're not an American, we're shipping you back. If you're going to be lawless in your own nation. We've got enough trouble here that we need to sort ourselves. We don't need to import it. We really don't. And the truth of the matter is, if Sunny was being honest, she would have looked at the numbers with Joe Biden sprinkling people all over this country. We got sprinkles here in Maryland, too. We've got Ukrainians and Chechens and Haitians. We got all kinds of people in the cracks and crevices of these small towns. What's going to happen to these people? What's going to happen to these people when they're too scared to send their kids to school, when they're too scared to go to work because they're going to be, quote unquote, deported? My best advice to you, self-deport. Self-deport. Avoid the 10-year penalty. Pack your stuff and go back home and try it again.
Yeah, it's really troubling. And we're going to talk about the politics of Democrats later in the show. But it's really troubling when you hear people like Sunny Hostin and many of these Democrats who sit and advocate for criminality. And then they play on this race card when they say it. So they advocate for black and brown criminals, but not black and brown victims. They say nothing about what's going on in inner cities like here in Baltimore City, like Chicago, like all of these victims that are, victims of gang violence and unaliving and all this types of stuff. They say nothing. But when it comes to, they make up stuff about criminality. This is what they do. It's sickening. Yep. I mean, Sunny Hostin, she reminds me of a hound. Instead of a bloodhound, she's a race hound. Mm-hmm. Anything she can sniff, she looking for some way to tie it to racism, and it's not even there.
She's a typical border.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. The southern border and the southern entries of port of entries are the busiest ones in the country. This is why we're focusing there.
Of course we're focusing it. Here's the thing.
She mentioned the Asians, they don't walk over water. Right. No, they don't have to. China can send the balloons and the drones. Hell, they come when they want. So what are we supposed to do? Just keep letting them do that? No. And you know why they don't advocate for the victims? Because they know that their policies cause the victims and contribute to the victimology and the victimization. That's why. So in order to do that, if they advocate for the victims, they're going to have to go back and say, oh, well, what policy, maybe contribute to this? And it's going to be theirs. It's called man in the mirror syndrome, which they don't have.
Listen, they're willing to sacrifice American lives to hang on to power. That's what this all boils down to. I mean, it's somebody who I've done my fair share politically, good and otherwise, right? However, I would never, ever risk an American child, never an American woman, never an American man for the sake of power. Power can be won so very easily by talking to people, right? Mm-hmm. Asking you what your goals are for your community and figuring out a way we can meet those goals. That's the way you're supposed to do it. But you know what happens? People say, you know what? We'll import all of these other people. And they'll be so grateful because we're going to give them housing and hospitals and money every single month and food every single month. Something we won't even give the veterans who fought, died, in some cases bled for us, right? It doesn't make any sense to the naked eye. But when you think about it from a political standpoint, they're importing their next group of voters.
Oh, yeah.
This is their holding on to power. This is what this is.
It's criminal. It's criminal.